Good evening, Marikolo. My name is Turan Mbete, and beside me is my colleague, Ms. Mosebiwa, and we will be the facilitators of today's debate regarding the portfolio of Secretary General at the upcoming SRC elections. So without further ado, the candidates of this year's elections are Ms. Temane, Mr. Balubi, as well as Mr. Museo. So without wasting any time, I will give our candidates the opportunity of introducing themselves, as well as to provide us an overview of the leadership portfolio and as to why they are running for the position of Secretary General. We shall begin with Ms. Temane.
Okay. Good evening to the student body and everybody who is live with us right now. My names are Tatayaone Edith G. Temane, not Temane, Mr. Moderator. Before I start, I'll give a quote that I received today in area A. There's a woman, then there's Tanya. Tanya Ene, I take her back. Let me tell you why it is like that. Tanya has a history in leadership. She was the junior school SRC president of Moeti, became the head girl, she's the outgoing administrative secretary, founded FEMADO in 2020 at 18 years old to help young women and girls around the country. Tatayaone is the CEO of Edith Investments. Tatayaone was a youth officer for Botswana. Tatayaone was a representative of the youth Morigining, Young Gamiland for the Canada Health Project. Achievements and cancer, Ghana mean incumbent. I can't come here and speak what have you done in your term as administrative secretary. I get that makes part of my introduction. I'm going to start with pushing and advocating for the sexual harassment policy. It was made, but it wasn't launched to the student body. It was launched to the student body through Meon Tinghapel Halona. We also had the sexual assault awareness campaign. And my girls, our girls have a problem in the university. Our boys have a problem in the university. Our LGBTQ have a problem. Our disabled have a problem. They're being sexually assaulted. I made a campaign. We also have collaboration with fellow cabinet ministers for entrepreneurship mandates. I was a moderator of the JNU. They came back and asked me to come, and I was like, I cannot go alone because I'm a team player. I'm going to involve a few comrades. I don't know where. But anyway, moving on, I was the pageant director and organizer of Mr. Yubi. Pageant day, I should take it upon myself. Bango bana bata kana ne ke le mmehela ke le one mo council bana bata gape ile go rehela ba tso go lwantsha mo ka lo ba yo emeng hape le ga lona yo nanga le lwela, but they fought, they failed. I think you guys observed it on social media. Le bone ba palwetse, we were successful with our pageant. And then also kana go ha kana ntse ke le bolela gore I was the only female. I was having problems in the SRC, things of sabotaging events and whatnot, but we had summits with different clubs in the university. And as a leader, I was here for them. When they need me, I have to be present. Unlike other leaders, busy with my personal whatnot, I attended Ketzelo di Flara. I wouldn't still be one in the Talamo Yubi, Sahata Jose, Waselemoha, if you listen as Abuela Hanti.
Thank you, Mr. Mani.
Thank you so much.
We go over to Mr. Dlamini. Can you please introduce yourself to the student population?
Mr. Museo. It's Mr. Museo. Legacy one last.
Dumelang baithuti ba Madikolo. Na yo wa pele ga no ke Thabiso Museu. I'm a fourth year pharmacy student and a former PRO on the University of Botswana Pharmacy Students Association. Viva student power, viva. Viva. So kan kholo e tshwantse gore re itse is the concept that lies behind becoming a candidate of the SRC Secretary General. You are the driver of the SRC. The governance of the SRC and as well as the PRO of the SRC. Let's talk about the PRO manager. Ba nkitse mo go masoko UBPS ke le ka bira la gala dina e ntle mo go maswele gore ena ga sa le mo BTV tota. And it was because of teamwork And that is what we want. As a former PRO of the University of Botswana Pharmacy Students Association, as well as a pharmacy student, we understand that the concept is academic excellence. The concept is academic over, it's academic, it's education over academics. The concept is building your talent. Introduce a new movement, usher a new dispensation.
Thank you, Mr. Musu. We will now be moving on to Mr. Brian Badubi.
And a very good evening to the viewers at home and to the panelists here today. My name is Atiamo Brian Badubi, outgoing SRC Minister of Student Affairs and then incoming Secretary General. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you speaking as a voice for the voiceless. I stand before you today speaking to the girl child, speaking to the boy child, speaking to the national student, because advocacy is something that has always been there. Advocacy is something that has always been done. I'll take you through a journey of leadership. A journey whereby people come and say, leadership is about me and what I'm doing. Question is, I believe leadership is what you are doing for the people that put you in power. Leadership is about doing what is actually delivering to your constituents. I am Tiam Brian Badubi. I currently serve as the Director of Communications for the Pan-African Universities Debate Championship, which is an original, mind you, regional organization which is spearheading debating in the African context. Locally, I stand as the Tournament Director of SAUD Student for which the debating competition is going to see us as University of Botswana hosting all countries in the region. Moving away from debate because I believe that's an idea or area where I can express myself equitably and actually showcase my intellectual abilities. As a leader, I have various responsibilities in my current state. I was the SRC, Student Minister of Student Affairs in the University of Botswana. I moved on to becoming the Senior Prefect at St. Joseph's College, as well as a Minister of Student Affairs at my junior school, the University of Botswana. So student leadership is not something that I'm meeting here. Unlike some people, maybe one to my left, leadership is something that has always been there and something that has always done. I'm not going to dwell much on what I have done in the SRC because I think my results can speak for me. I think the students of the University of Botswana can actually attest to what I've done for them. They can attest to the service I've always been given to them. But in a nutshell, I'll say this is me and this is Tiamo Brian Badubi. I am the engine of the council because a vehicle without an engine is just a piece of scrap. I am incoming Secretary General of the Monabay Treaty. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Badubi. So we will now be moving into the next segment of this discussion, which will be the manifesto presentation. And I'd like for Mr. Musu to begin with his manifesto. Thank you.
Allow me to switch to English for this initiative that we want to bring. We need to understand that SRC is all about, we need to understand that the Secretary General is all about driving. All we need to do is introduce initiatives and we enforce those initiatives. We should understand that DSM, UBCD, we call ourselves the People's Project. We listen to the channel and we make sure that every single thing that a student we're going to make sure that we implement them. We have, for example, entrepreneurs. Swimming pool, I went to the director of sports, and he has actually stated that the UB sometimes hosts these places, and there's a stall that should be given, that can be given to students, so that students can actually use it to empower themselves. But the problem is, we're going to talk about transparency and publicity. There is no transparent SRC. We are very, very transparent. We bring initiatives and we make sure that people see. I believe by Tutibabu, re-empowering the NFP as a country. One thing we're going to do is expand the relations of the UB SRC with other universities. Really DSM x UBCD. Re batla gore baithuti ba inakanyele baithuti ba bang. You are a student. Let me give you an example of me. I'm a student pharmacist, but I'm interested in farming. Why can't I call a student from Buan, Atlantuta ka farming ya le gore yena we invest in mo go yone? That is what we want to do. That is the power of the SRC and the power of the student, or the power of the Secretary General. Rona re batla go implement. I am the PRO. I am going to make sure that every single thing se le gore moithuti wa se eletsa sa konagala ka dithata tsa metse ke di hilwe nna ke na pata go tswa go ntle ba ka o lengwe mme ke na le pata e tswang mo student welfare e le gore tota re dirisa ka bonoko pila. We have kanya establishment of clear channels and communications with the SRC in the student body. Ba ka o lengwe ra di student ra di class rep. I'm going to disseminate a very, very, very crucial and heart-rendering situation that has happened to me. I'm a former BSc student. I passed exceptionally. Actually, I was in the top 10 of the Matters Pay students. But when I came to the university, I wanted medicine. I got into pharmacy, but I wanted medicine. And that thing itself, it actually disrupted me to the point whereby I took FD. When I came back to the university, I wanted help from students. Na kwa thinking na kwa puso ka prosper mathata ya no ne ke batla le secretary general ene le ngore he go ale na design na ka ya hakitse mele hali go ha tshotso re be khanyele gore ne ke batla thuso ke sa ibone ka boka hela ke ikemela ka dinao ke a go batla sponsorship. I got back to the university and I'm going to show people the way on how to do it because of administration. Rona re batho ba tsamaiso ipotse gore le biditse jang ba eng kwano mme re se affiliated because ra re tlhaloganya tsamaiso. Why don't we use those places? The only way we could use those places and such initiatives, the other candidates, they want us or they bring such. A snooker tournament, Basco Premier League. All we want is that initiative to happen. Because Kanyarona, the implementation. Viva student power, viva. Viva! SRC and the student body needs to be in a bond. We need to communicate with class reps of different places. We need to create a platform whereby we can hear out the cries. What if there's another student out there who was the best in school in Matters Pay or another different school? About failure one. For about 6 months. Kanyami ke gore ke bontshe ba ithuti tswello pele. Kanyami ke go bontsha ba ithuti re ba se ka ba ithoboga. Kanyami ke go bontsha ba ithuti gore even your voice will be heard. Ba ga to SDSM x UBCD, we are here to empower. Nothing else but empower. Kanya rona ke gore ha o le moithuti sello sa gago se utlwiwe. And as the PRO, as the administrative, as the incoming body that will be working in coalition with the SRC president, we are going to make sure that such initiatives are made. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dlamini. We will now move on to
Mr. Museu.
Sorry, Mr. Museu. We now move on to Mr. Badula.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take the opportunity to thank you, Madam Moderator, for giving me the chance to deliberate on our issues. Our manifesto point as our message to the student populace of English is very simple. We are saying we should rise as one. Rise as one, basically, we are speaking of issues of inclusive governance. Because I am here because of the students, and I should be able to lead and govern with the students. The point number 2 speaks of global student engagement, whereby we as students of the University of Botswana must have global relations with different key holders across different universities. We are students in the University of Botswana. We are students in the University of Wits. We are students in the University of Cape Town. We are students in the University of Fort Hare. These students need to come together and actually collaborate and work together to solve sensible problems to the current status quo of learning. Because one problem that you might be facing in UB, better solve it differently. We also speak of student empowerment and well-being. We believe that students should be empowered in whatever way that you are doing. We believe that students should be given opportunity to be heard. We believe that students should be given the resources and the tools needed to actually ensure that they actually uphold initiatives that they do have. Lastly, the last pillar is based on student-centered priorities. The SRC essentially is there to represent what the student body wants. Then the initiative that we are making should be student-centered, should not be individualized. They should not be speaking to the aspirations of individual members. They should speak to the greater good of the student body. Question then becomes, how then, Mr. Bajubi, are you going to uphold these pillars? Mind you, the Office of the Secretary General is an office that is very diverse. It deals with the administrative part of the SRC. That is why I'm saying that's the engine of the council. Because, like you know, the driver is the president in case the engine is the one that actually makes the vehicle run. The engine is the one that actually makes all other components of the vehicle move. The SRC is a vehicle, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm the engine. We are going to do certain initiatives which are going to improve the student body. Because, like we are saying, we are moving into global student engagement and inclusive government. We are going to do what is called enhancement of student life through student-centered initiatives. We can attest to this. The University of Botswana is an institution whereby the student life is not being taken care of. I will even ask to my fellow people of the University of Botswana to say, what is the impact of this society that it has in the University of Botswana? And do you think we can do better as a club to actually reach out to student populations and reach out even beyond the borders of the university so that you can reach your mandates? What we are saying that we need a university that has student-centered initiatives. We need to bring together clubs because essentially clubs are the drivers of the welfare of the students. Clubs are the drivers of student life in the University of Botswana. You know, having a political science society, having a debate club, having a chess club, having a music club. These are the very same components that are going to push student life in the University of Botswana. It's very disheartening that in our university, 4 years with us club why as you say improve the extracurricular activities. Then what additional things do you do besides of your education? It's very disheartening, and we believe as the Monabe is the government that student-centered initiatives are some things that we should be taking key focus on. The next issue that I'm going to be talking about is improvement of student club funding. But unfortunately, because I come from that space, I tell you this. As it stands, the University of Botswana only sponsors transport. But there's more that needs to be done in terms of funding clubs. There's more that needs to be done because some clubs do not need transport to be impactful. Some clubs do not need transport only to be impactful on the University of Botswana. Some clubs do not need transport to bring solutions because, like I'm saying, clubs are the drivers of the welfare of the students of the University of Botswana. Then we need to be able to give them funding, what is sufficient for them to be able to carry out certain initiatives. It is an issue of you cannot even reach the people that you want because of different reasons, and how to be budgetary constraints are one of that. We as the Monabai Tuti are saying, as part of the subvention that we are given as part of SRC, we should be able to augment or supplement the funding options which are there currently by the university. Because let's face it, clubs function outside transport alone. The clubs need something beyond just transport, so that in overall we can actually improve the student empowerment and well-being of the University of Botswana. But so moving forward, I'm talking of other actually the sector-specific club partnerships. We are growing students who are going to be future experts in their different expertise. We are growing students who are going to be leaders in that different place. We are growing students which are going to be playing different economical players in the world out there. We are not just developing students of Latin America and Botswana. We want to develop a globally competitive student. And one part of global competitiveness is your extracurricular activities. Because that is where you learn your soft skills. That is where you learn issues like communication. That is where you learn collaboration. That is where you learn teamwork. These are the very same skills which are essential to the students of Magic Pool. Kana re le ba ithuti ba mona dikolo ga re batle gore ga ile gore rona re khona go tsontsa ba pele ba rona go mona ba ithuti ga re ithuti batho ba ba ketsa batho le rona ithuti le na khona go benefit. A student should be able to benefit in this additional soft skill that you are speaking of. The other issue is the subvention fund policy. The subvention fund policy for a very long time has not been amended. We believe it's high time that we amend the subvention fund policy. I'll give a typical example. In other first-class universities around the world, the SRC can buy vehicles to be used specifically for clubs, can buy vehicles to be used for clubs. The SRC can buy equipment to be used by clubs specifically. But in our very outdated subvention plan, We are moving in a revolving world, yet our policies are not improving, are not actually evolving with time. What we are saying is one of the things that we are going to amend the salvation fund policy to ensure more access to funds for student-centered initiatives. The salvation fund should be able to be used to serve the interests of the students. It's a bit unfortunate that currently, as an outgoing SRC member, I personally do not even know what this year's action plan is. I've never seen the budget with my own 2 eyes. Yet you have people who come here and say they have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I remember perfectly well, the outgoing administrative secretary, as one of her manifesto pointers last year said, she's going to broadcast and she's going to share the annual budget and action plan with students. If I, in my capacity as a minister, have not seen that action plan, have not seen that budget, how is she going to do that? Yet she failed to do that. I'll speak to the issue of minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a cabinet member. There's no transparency within the SRC, and unfortunately, she's yet to attest for herself. She has never shared the SRC minutes with the student body like she said we are. And we believe that these are key areas. In doing that, we can have student-centered initiatives. How can we have student-centered governance when certain elements of student governance are not shaped? So we need to know what our representatives are saying in the meetings. So we need to know what our representatives are saying inside closed panels where they're speaking for us. We need to be able to see those reports. We need to be able to see those minutes as student body. It's high time we have accountability in the leaders that we have. It's high time. Speaking also to the issue of sector-specific club partnerships. We have different clubs in the Ministry of Botswana which are doing exceptionally well, but they're not able to bring those real-life and tangible solutions to the university and to the world because they lack the support from industry. They lack the support from the private sector. They lack the support from government. We are saying, as Maunabaitu, it's high time we bring together students. We bring together student musicians. We bring together student entrepreneurs. We bring together student intellects and actually part them or actually connect them with areas in that specific industry. Because one key aspect that we need to introduce is the fact of mentorship. Mentorship is very important. Then the question then becomes, after I'm mentored, what then do I do to improve the university community? Because we need to be able to improve. I personally believe so much in human development. As leaders, we should be able to move from point A to point B. And through point number 3 of student empowerment and student well-being, we speak of student development. We speak of student development. Ladies and gentlemen, development is a very critical aspect in whatever we are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, as also to show the students, also to show confidence in students that we are able to fight and advocate for their needs, despite our personal opinions or our personal reasons. We can put our personal reasons behind and personal goals behind, and actually fight and advocate for the student community. Ladies and gentlemen, as you might be aware, that the 13 SRC members, myself included, were suspended in the beginning of last academic semester because we are advocating for the students, because we believe that what was happening was wrong. That was an injustice. But after that suspension, people were moved. People were afraid. Some of them decided to run away to people where they cannot be radical, where they can be kept quiet and not speak, not continue to push on the interests of the students. The judiciary, which was created by the GS26 government, led by President Magibizela, who's one of the most useless and the most embarrassing president to ever come out of this university, who has never decided something. I'll pause there and actually continue at a later stage. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Borutubi. We will now be moving on to Ms. Demani.
You know, at times like these, it's funny when you hear a comrade attest that we did have a struggle, but he knows that a fellow wanted to say it out loud that he was not a part of it. So I wonder, but anyway, moving on to my manifesto pointers. The first one is professional development and capacity building. We're going to be benchmarking. Benchmarking is not only going to be international, but it's going to start nationally around our country. Nationally where? We have global expos, we have tourism expos, I'm the Secretary General. These clubs need exposure. They need to go and learn and see what is in the UB works, and you're interested in the tourism industry. What really happens in the tourism industry? We are going to be providing that for them. And also, there are different international activities that happen. For example, the FOBs that is happening right now. We could be having entrepreneurship clubs right now representing us at FOBs, right? I'm going to be the Secretary General, the incoming one. I'm not going to speak about what the last one did because Secretary General. I get it. We're going to be having alumni companies involvement. We have so many alumni out there, doctors, engineers, owning big and massive companies that can actually fund. They actually do fund. But then, as the Secretary General, knocking on their doors, just like I knocked on Yarna FM's doors, University. Can you please come and assist? We're also going to be having an internship program. What is an internship program and how are we going to do it? We're going to have a database. Engineering, nursing, social work, they need internship. There was a fellow comrade here who spoke of the problem. They get less time to go and intern. Yes, it is true. Now the solution is let's have a database. If the companies that the intern come to the office of the Secretary General, they'll be readily made for you. One, gone, 1, 2, 3, gone. I get it. And then from there, we're going to be talking about utilizing the CCE Professional Center. University. We're going to have them facilitate short courses. How you have your theory based, yes, it's true. And we're going to align you with the CCE Professional Center in the University of Botswana. We're also going to be the link between students and investors. They do help. They actually are waiting for you, for students of the university to come and say, because we have the same mandate. I'm an engineer, I want to be an engineer, help me, take me where you are right now. We have workshops and seminars. Our leaders are not trained. That's why I can't tell you. It's because of lack of training. We have bullies. Imagine commenting someone with albinism 50 million. What is that? We need to train our leaders. The trainship program is not enough. Let's stop bullying these people. That the disabled, I was so ashamed. Let me move on. We also need a capacity-based university. Capacity-based university. They would rather hire IHS because they are practical. Let's put that into practice. Let's equip them with skills. And then what? Half of the affiliation club money but you're here for the students, not for personal vendettas, just like my fellow comrade this side was saying. And then we have stakeholder engagement. These clubs share mandates with organizations out there. Let's partner them. Let's bring all those NGOs of entrepreneurship. We have engineering societies, let's have those here in the university. We share the same mandate, we share the same initiatives, and we're going to utilize them, we're going to invite them. The other thing, we could possibly, that we are going to find a way to affiliate those outside organizations to come here. We keep talking about funds, or UB only funds transport. Imagine if you had Women Against Rape here. They would fund you the way you need to be funded to achieve your mandate. Mandate achieved. We have the US Embassy, Ministry of Health. They are there in the university. They're helping the UB clinic. Let's bring them here, but to celebrate. We also have mentorship for local impact and empowering ambition. Empowering ambition, we're talking about all these student public figures that you see in the university. They need to source out help from outside. It means really university. Bangwe actually start a career ya hela because how do you behave in such an industry? How do you do this in such an industry? Ke tso go ba tlisetsa batho ba ileng gore ba tso go bereka le bone. A ke le bone gore go hale ne rena le bo bakers, ne rena le bo audio tech, bana ba bo media studies, ba bana le bone go ntse hatse ba train how does the music industry work? How does the radio industry work? That is what I'm bringing to the table. And also, one thing, we're going to be having alumni engagement. We are going to have cordial relationships. They own hospitals. It's very nice when you see light of what you are entering into. Again, so we're going to need our alumni for that. Let's not waste time. And then from there, we have UB as one of the best universities in the state. Track record more the private and public sector. Where are those people? There was an alumni conference. Don't think because I'm in the GS26, I'm not going to advocate for the students. I'm here for you and we're going to make it happen. Nerala alumni program at the arena. Did you get to engage with them? No, it was extravagant. Instead of extravaganting and wasting money on alumni, let's use those alumni funds on the students. And we're going to monitor them. Don't think we're not going to monitor them. We're going to be having internship systems. We need reports from are they providing results? Moving on, I'm not free. Why any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are very different from my own. Why didn't I defect to the other movement? Hey, we're going to be mentoring our female leaders. We're going to be empowering our entrepreneurship leaders. We're going to be having safety runs on campus in partnership with my Minister of Justice. We need to rocket the security guards at those entrances. I guess the past Minister of Justice, I don't know, maybe missed it. Blocks like 446, 470, regular cleaning, sanitation. Imagine what's an what's that? It's not sanitary. You're bathing by the showers, is very, very, very sensitive. We should actually pay heed to that. And then we're going to be having, obviously, the sanitary pet drive. I didn't start it in the SRC. I started it as a first year student. Just for campaign. Salary 2020 and we're going to get more partnerships, we're going to get more NGOs, and funny enough, the sanitary pads that I provided when the office of the president, the vice president's office, Secretary General Office, officing our president, the being attacked with pseudos, you use them, then you use the personal things that you did with them to attack them and damage their mental health. What is that? And what are you saying to one? You know, there was a funny thing. Every time they were asked, why is there one woman in the council, they would say, we just needed somebody to feel. But funny enough, in that very council, there were so many in. But anyway, moving on. Meeting. I'm supposed to facilitate. Was the administrative secretary. My portfolio in Empogilea, the Copa Carenting and Secretary General. Senen also complain like it's also banka. How am I going to fix that? We're going to have 3 sittings, SRC meetings. What all SRC? One of our law fagan inter one of a VP, law fabomang, but about frustrated the meeting. What happened? You have 3 chances to sit and deliver what the students want to say. We're not going to be having all these propagandas and rumors out the meeting. No, we're going to fix that. 3 sittings per semester, attend house, attend the and then from there, minutes. You know, sometimes as leaders, I think we're trained. They do political sciences, we're trained on how do organizations function. Minutes are not released, but the resolution through memos and communication transparency. What we spoke about was given to the students. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. So we're going to be moving into the next segment of our discussion, which will be the questions. And I'd like to direct this question to Mr. Badubi as well as Mr. Mani. So one of the issues around this elections was with regards to the contestation of certain candidates. And one of the concerns of the students is that they feel like national parties are starting to have an influence with regards to student politics. So I wanted to understand, from your perspective, do you feel like the affiliation of our student parties to our national parties somewhat negatively affects political discourse within the university? Thank you. We shall start with Mr. Badu.
All right, thank you so much. I think if you raise two issues. The first issue being whether or not the political affiliation has an impact on the students of the University of Botswana. So I want to say that we as the Monabeng, the affiliation with the umbrella for democratic change does not negatively influence us. And in actual fact, it positively influences us. Because we are students, we are suffering here at the realm of the ruling party, which is the BDP. Right now, students are complaining. Right now, the university is complaining. The very same thing that Mr. Man was saying, that blocks like 470 have not even been renovated. A very critical issue is the issue of that the University of Botswana, for a very long time, has not been given a maintenance budget by the BDP ruling government. So if a government like that does not advocate for student needs, then obviously it's going to negatively affect them. But when we come to what the umbrella for democratic party, UDC saying, we're speaking of the issue of the 2.5 living allowances, which is a positive thing in terms of what students actually want. So our alignment with that political institution says that we are aligning with someone that's going to speak to the heart of the students, and you're not going to forget advocacy of the student, because the student is the mandate of why we are here as political leaders in the University of Botswana. The other issue is that the government has a tendency of not bringing whatever they will do. When I was a first year student here, there was the issuance of the student and the varsity card, where government, when it was increasing allowance, was saying that we are going to then create a discount card for university students. We are still waiting for the card. As university students, we very much need for that card from government. It's still not yet here. So I think our affiliation with the UDC is very much a positive affiliation, but in terms of other movements and why they're affiliating themselves with people that, one, do not bring what they're saying they're going to do, two, they are continuing to destroy the welfare of the students of the University of Botswana, I do not know if they can attest to that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. Mr. Mani.
Sorry. Well, complain the page. Please, guys, we can't be posting debates for complaining. We really got characters as seen. I don't want to go with the worst person alive. Rather to exist. Desist from doing that. We talked about national politics and student politics. It's wrong. I really the politics upon that. Or the dilemma is not part of this debate, is not part of these elections. Yeah.
So the question, or how we should make it null and void?
Yes. Don't take into account anything about national politics. Don't.
Okay.
Mr. Madubi, the question I make over it, Badubi. So, we work like different initiatives to ensure that to empower students. Can you please talk about two of them? The initiatives that you are planning to adopt to ensure empowerment of students.
Yes, thank you. So as indicated, we had spoken as pillar number 3 of student empowerment and well-being. The first issue would be something that, and I think I must discuss this with the student community. When we came into the cabinet as the Minister of Student Affairs, I had intended on making a student entrepreneurship hub. The funds were allocated for that student entrepreneurship hub, but they were redirected to a dinner, which was attended by a few of the SRC members who were here, myself included. And when I was now questioning wanted to implement that student entrepreneurship hub, I was told that the money has been diverted to the minorities that are responsible. So I think there was a lot of mismanagement of funds within the previous SRC, which was at the heart of the Treasurer General President as well as the SRC President. So this initiative includes us going back to that issue of saying 411 must be converted into a student entrepreneurship into a student entrepreneurship hub. It's very much possible for that to be done. It was approved in the SRC action plan, so I'm told. But when I wanted to implement it, apparently the funds were diverted. Then the second initiative would be the club swapping or the club exchange program. We want to take certain clubs on exchange programs with different clubs so they can actually see and attest how things are run in different universities. Like I've mentioned earlier, I'm the director of communication for the Pan-African University Debate Championship of the Debate Council, which means I oversee quite a number of universities in the African continent, and I'm directly connected with SRCs from those institutions, with student development units from those institutions, which means that execution of that exchange program won't be a difficult thing because already I have those connections. Speaking to what initiatives we do, on Thursday there will be the Forbes Student Seminar in the University of Botswana. That is implemented when I go Faculty of Humanities, where we are saying as the Morabaiti is, because all students do not conform to the Forbes, and details will be shared as to how that will be happening. But this on the 7th, mind you, that's happening. It will be happening at the Humanities, that's indoor theater they have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the response, Ms. Tania. Accountability and transparency on the previous SRC. You were in the SRC, right? So, how do you plan on ensuring that the SRC members are accountable and they fulfill their mandate?
I spoke about accountability and transparency. I get for a release of memos, communicate and would have discussions, internal discussions, the organization like SRC, and then from there we release them to the students. And then it comes to the point of accountability. How are we going to account? If you are aware, in the University of Botswana, there is somebody who's supposed to, after the tenure of the SRC, auditing from the university, not us. We can't account. I can't make other leaders account. There has to be a body that assists me because I'm a part of them. How then do I account to my own issues if I'm the one who's now making sure that everybody's accounting whenever I favor myself? So I'm saying that I will talk to the university, the management, the relevant department, audit. After SRCR nights when the tenor, audit every member, let them be accountable. The students are going to get a communication for accountability. Let me account myself. Account for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. University will make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has been accounted for. My Ministry of Information and Propaganda publicize by how have we accounted as a council. That's how I'm going to do this.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Mani. My question goes to Mr. Mosu. Sir, could you kindly elucidate on the initiatives that you have with regards to student clubs? Because as you may know, the Secretary General is the individual within the SRC who deals closely with regards to student clubs. So I just wanted to know which types of initiatives you have planned if an event occurs that you are voted in office.
Thank you very much, moderator. I'm actually grateful that you actually asked me this question because I'm going to speak in the sense that I was actually one of the members of the EXCO and such. One thing that I've observed is access to facilities. There are actually designated areas or designated facilities that students are given, or rather societies and associations are given, but they don't know how. The question is the how part, sir. First thing I'm going to introduce is transparency. First thing I'm going to introduce is to show people how to do it, which office to knock to. That is the first thing that we're going to do. Number two, we're going to also touch on other initiatives that have been there. We have the UB Business, the UB Business Society. We want to work with those people because earlier on we've had comrades speaking about businesses that are going to be introduced in the. Let's speak reality. We need to understand that the university does not give out these venues. They haven't been given out yet. 411 has not yet been given out. But look at the solution. Solution is is that old Lenovo area. That is a place that is owned by the Innovation Hub. And it's something that we've already done, and we've actually liaised with them. But okay, since we understand it's not habitable, meaning that I want to make it free tuition thing. So it's initiative students are given free tuition by medicine students, by pharmacy students, by nursing students, even tutorials, everything should be free. Really, SRC regarding such issues. And one other thing that we're going to advocate for is that if there is international initiatives, let me give an example from our course. I'm going to always reference to me because we are going to, and we need to understand that pharmacy, we have initiatives that are international. We have a conference in Cape Town. That such conferences are student engagement conferences. We need the help of the welfare so that we can help these associations, these societies, for them to have exposure to international students. That's what we're going to bring.
Thank you, sir, for that answer.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. I'll ask you another question. What strategies will you implement to solicit feedback from students and incorporate their input into SRC decision making?
You know, I love the way you moderators are asking me these questions because they're actually in line with what I was thinking. Well, this is what's going to happen. First of all, we spoke about we're going to establish a clear channel of communication. We're going to talk to the class reps of different faculties. They are the ones who are going to talk to us because I believe those are the ones who are designated or rather elected by the classmates to be the representatives. That is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that those people, we talk to them. They have their own platform whereby every single student grievance, whether it's unpaid allowance, whether it's a missed test, but you have actually provided the relevant information for why you missed the test. That is what we're going to actually enforce. Proper communication between the student body as well as students at large through communications with the with the RAs. Thank you. The class reps. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will now be opening questions up to the student body. So if there are any questions, this is the time to ask your questions.
You were the administrative secretary of the SRC. We are going to have a minutes covering the chain. We told our Bohemian chain, was the secretary general right there. Yan Kapu is contesting for the presidency position while Korayam, for our Bohemian chain, over the keep the other administrative secretary. Hanging well with your in your achievements, so we are women empowerment. We are women empowerment. Can I know where I get the Motelo Europa Motahen Becky about Peter Lawrence and SRC as Nameka? Our tenants women empowerment, more community. If at all the women empowerment and community, Emela Halo will let Labrata for fun the Halo let Labu, your women empowerment. Thank you so much. Our tenants women empowerment, more community. That's the question.
Anybody else have any questions?
First question I got to find about year 26. Comrade, I saw I trying there, but let me start it. Point to kill my reason to worry. You recognize the sensitivity, the hygiene, of school. Of which I also recognize it, and it's very, very important. It should be assisted. Provider whenever the sanitary pads as a sensitive issue. But from the male child, what sensitive issue have you recognized? Lord, what is it that you're going to implement to assist in that regard? And then to the Monabaituti candidate, you talked about your achievements that you had, and then you stated what debate, what. Make how we your outgoing position. What achievements have you made? Leadership. Last time on your debate, Jaco debate today here, you stated what you are going to involve outside stakeholders, like for example, BC, lodges and hotels and everything, but different subsidized prices. DTF e ka thusa moithuti ya mo duelela ko base gore ba rente le go ke batla itse go kana ke batla go compare that follow up ya gore no ke tswa khona 1 2 3 kana go padile hale go mo go busetsa ko ne point ya accountability ye le gore le ba itele dipe. Thank you. Le dira jang ka accountability?
Gongwe ke go lebogeng tsamisa puisano e potsang dipedi di ya go Rebadubi. Rebadubi o tsile o mo mona ba ithuti today. Let me remind you, I've been in the university for 4 years. First, go simolotse go tswa the student charter 2.0. Ine nya re solohetsa student insurance among other things. Ayoneli dizetile le tile ka mo go shayano. Re solele gore every other year la bo ala nna le iphoko ha re ga tsena it can be done. I get it. These are things saying for the past 6 years, Monabaituti has been in leadership. I get it. Le khoneng hala khoneng ka gore ne sa se khona ala go tsweledisa ko kana la go simolisa mo go sha le togela mo go mora. Potso engwe ya bobedi o tsene a bo bua ka gore the SRC ga e khone go ipatela the resource. Let me remind you that there's an office of the Treasurer General. O no bua lo SRC e khone go reka dikolo ya e khone gore nga e khone gore ke go gakolle go ke go ruti. The Treasurer General, as per the SRC constitution, is empowered to purchase on behalf of the SRC assets. Tseleng gore ha tswa ho wa di oversee. Jano we na kwa go thusa ka tseleng tsenyang gore ha o ntse mo bua gore ga gona madi mo university o kgone gore o te ka manana wane wa mo.
Thank you for the questions. I believe that we can start with Mr. Mani.
I got very interesting questions. I'm past Hey, as the administrative secretary, I get what's on time and because you're administrative secretary, Onoro no but the same person was the SG. The portfolio of the administrative secretary. In Alema Tatalon, it's something that we're going to review. SG. On a late tata. I'm the one who's supposed to facilitate meetings. I'm the one who's supposed to take care of the administration and the procedural running of the SRC. I'm going to take it head on and get Secretary General. President Secretary General. When I look at your achievements, some people don't listen in delivery. I don't know if it's the lack of comprehension of the Queen's language. I spoke about collaboration for entrepreneurship. I don't know if that was not heard. There were males present with the generational unlimited. Wasn't that something that I did apart from being a female? Weren't boys included? Come on, guys, hey. There was also an issue of having the Mr. and Miss UB. Mr. and Miss UB. Mr. is males. It was not only for the females. And then also, we're talking about issue of having challenges in the SRC. And you know males are funny. When they've fought a woman and they've failed, they'll come and stand here and tell you that you only fight for women because you've managed to conquer and represent women, both male and the marginalized. So, I'm not only here for the women, I'm here for everyone. Unlike other people who'd use the LGBTQ, then post about them and diminish them. People who are going to post about females and demean them and defame them and attack their mental health. I'm going to advocate for every student, female, male, disabled, LGBTQ, everyone in the university.
Okay.
There was another question from the DSA. Yeah, Kore. I was speaking about male or females. What am I gonna do for the male child? I've seen blocks, stubborn men. I've seen the boys' blocks. You can't enter there on weekends. You can't. There are people who actually take care of their hygiene as males. Some people don't visit the showers, they won't know. They have to ask females, and I'm going to advocate for them as well. Self-defense. When you come here and present an issue, say you no sit there, you won't understand. You will pinpoint one, you know, affected by that. That regular.
Yes, I think our fellow comrades, it shows that they don't listen. And they are not well equipped with what's happening in the university. You cannot use the University of Botswana subvention funds to buy assets. So you cannot buy a vehicle using subvention fund. My key point was on the issue of amendment of the subvention fund itself. So the subvention fund, which is the 130 people that the students are paid, should be used to buy assets which are going to benefit the students, which is a problem right now in the very same subvention fund policy that we have. Then the second issue was I sat here around a year ago and talked about subsidized prices for student accommodation. It's applying. By the first year, we personally, together with my student affairs committee, we went around. That very same register, has it in possession. You know what, even now, he's supplementing it. It's something that's there. We go back so as I was saying, we're speaking of partnerships with the university as well as other big stakeholders this time. And I gave an example with BAC, where BAC rents out facilities on behalf of their students, then they charge your normal accommodation fees to that particular students. But in the last ad hoc accommodation committee meeting, you know, that was an action item. And a task force has been created to go and find when Botswana can actually leave out on behalf of the students. It's something that's going to be done, and we are going to continue more about it. You'll see the results with Mr. Mudiri Motayon as in student affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Madubi. So we'll now be moving on to the next segment of our discussion today, which will be the closing remarks, and we'll start with Mr. Mosuyu.
Right. Kanyame why? Implementation. Kanyame why? Hore ba ithuti ba supe hore ba na le moeteledipele ebile ba dumela mo go ena. Right, I am Comrade White Man. I got this name not because I called myself that name. It's the name that I was given by students because they could see a leader. And if you see a leader too, you will make the right decision. Vote for DSM X UBCD. 30-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mosuyu. We will now be moving on to Mr. Madubi.
Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I'd like to speak to the student of the University of Botswana, a student that has nothing else but just a living allowance, a student who a student that does not come from privilege, a student that uses their own skills, their own abilities to ensure that they make these payments. We shall rise as one. We are speaking of tangible solutions for the student community. We are speaking of result-oriented SRC. As the incoming Secretary General, o te o bone gore ba eteledipele ba ba tsweletseng ba le berekela ba le buelela ba sa batle go tswella ka maaka ka tsa bone tse diko ba sa batle go reka ditheko tse dintšha ka matseno ape ba bona go ba bona teng kgakitse ke re we understand your problems and we are going to serve and we are going to make sure that your cries are met for. We are going to make sure that we are going to represent the cry of the students. We shall in the dress as one. We are going to go and a revolution will hatch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Madubi. We'll now be moving on to Mr. Mani.
Moithuti kwa lapeng go ngwe ba go lobetse mme o emeng ha o na a lwela moithuti a beetse selfish interest to the side. Moithuti o emeng ha o na le emela le lwela dikgang tsa bo late registration a suspendiwa go nna hanta a month. Mme o emeng gape le ga lona ga ke mme o le sologetsang gore o tsile go le buelela lotlhe mo sekolong go sa kgathalesege gore o mang ebile you're of which gender. Ke go raya ke re moithuti ko lapeng, make the right decision, choose capable leaders that can represent you outside. Dira jalo moithuti ko lapeng o ska lebala gore o thopa thata ya one temane ga o thope mmala o thata one temane a le mo go one thata one o kila go direla bonte a le mo mmaleng o sele le ga ntse a le ga o tso go tswelela. I'm going to continue delivering to the students. The leader is Thata Yaone Temane under the GS26. Thank you. Please vote and be a responsible youth representative of the country.
Thank you, Ms. Tamani. To our viewers at home, we thank you for checking in with us today. The choice is yours. Tomorrow we'll be hosting our presidential debates. We hope to see you there. Good night.